Hello, friends. In this clip, we will tell you a true story as we begin our series of real stories. If you like the clip, don't forget to support us by subscribing. Thank you. Let's get started. One day there was a beautiful girl coming out of the cinema with a friend of hers. Her friend left her and continued her way on foot, and if someone came to her from behind and hit her hard on the head, when she wakes up, she finds herself in a room covered all over with plastic bags. The girl tries to get up on her feet, but she feels some imbalance, reaches the door handle and gets out of the scary room, and finds herself in a very beautiful house other than the room she is kept in. And in front of her she finds a young man who tells her that he found her passed out on the road. She may have been in an accident. He had her phone in his hand, he gave it to her, and asked her to call her family to reassure them about her. She was feeling very afraid of him inside her, but she came close to take her phone from him and he threw the phone away and laughed in her face in a hysterical way that spread fear inside her. So the girl ran towards the door to get out of the whole house, but she finds it locked, so she runs towards the kitchen, takes a knife, and threatens the young man with it, threatening him not to approach her, or else she will kill him with it. So he approaches her with deadly calm, takes the knife from her hand, and without the slightest mercy, plunges it into her thigh until the end of the knife. The girl screams in pain, and in an attempt to withdraw the knife from her body, it scares her that if she does that, blood will flow from her and flow with force and take her own life, so the girl fears him and crawls on the floor back to the room from which she came out. If someone calls her, she answers him before the phone catches the attention of the deranged young man. Indeed, her mother calls the phone, so the girl answers her and tells her to call the policeman, as she has been kidnapped by a mentally disturbed young man. The poor girl was speaking in a very low voice, fearing that the psychopath would feel her. Her daughter asked her, and indeed the policemen were able to locate her through her phone, but she was in a place full of skyscrapers and full of houses as well, as if they were looking for a needle in a haystack. He was with the rescue team, who struggled to reach the exact place in front of them, and when they arrived, they were surprised. There was a doctor with them to save the poor girl, and the girl was still with them in contact. The doctor asked her to press her nails and tell her what would happen. They have only 1 hour, and the girl will lose consciousness after losing a lot of her blood. One of the investigators found only one way when the girl was unable to describe the place in which she was being held, and her description did not lead them to anything, so he asked her to set the place on fire so that they could find her as quickly as possible. One of the paramedics asked her to look for a lighter or matches and ignite the fire around her, trying as best she could to protect herself from any possible harm. Indeed, the girl found a lighter in the bathroom, but unfortunately for her, it did not work, so the investigator advised her to remove the upper part of the lighter and drag it on the ground to create a spark. Indeed, the girl did that, but she lost her balance, as she was feeling very weak, and the entire rescue crew became worried about her and feared for her life, and at this moment her mother came, who spoke to her and encouraged her to do so in order to regain her freedom and enable others to help and save her. Indeed, the girl managed to set fire and before she closed the bathroom door, she lost consciousness. Indeed, the rescue team was able to know her exact location, and from the window, fearing the fire, they managed to enter, and the first person among them to set foot in the house found the deranged young man waiting for him, and he put the knife on his neck, threatening the rest to back down, or else he will be killed without any mercy. Of course, they are people trained in such situations. They were able to avoid him and handcuff him. They entered the room in which the girl was, and the fire exploded throughout the house, and they were able to put it out. As for the girl, she was completely unconscious, and she was suffering from suffocation due to severe smoke. The doctor tried to help her as much as possible, and they carried her to the ambulance, and everything necessary was done for her. On the other hand, the deranged person was in another ambulance, and the interrogator was interrogating him. His answers were provocative to the extreme, so the doctor, who is part of the rescue team, put alcohol on his wounds to feel the pain, and the deranged young man admitted that he killed 6 girls, cut them up, and ate them too, and no one was able to discover his crimes to this day. He was basically a deranged young man when he was investigated by a veterinarian working for a state agency, and he was expelled from his job because he was killing animals in a brutal way. And animals also around it.